In today's session, we are going to see the two topics from anatomy physiology, and that is nothing but your lymphatic system and digestive system. So we will have a quick review of it. What is the essence? What is the extract that will be discussed over here? Because that is the most important part for the GPAT exam, Niper exam, and your pharmacist exam. See, it has been taught to you already, so you are well aware about this chapter. You are well aware about the terminologies. You are well aware about the organs associated with a particular system. But what is the important things in that organ? For example, if you take a stomach, okay, so anatomy of stomach is not much important. What is the important thing? The gastric juice present in the stomach. What is the composition of gastric juice? What are the role of each component? What is the okay? So let's start. First of all, we will see lymphatic system. So what do you mean by lymphatic system? As the name indicates, lymphatic system. So lymph, as the term indicates, lymph means it is a kind of fluid. Okay, it is a fluid. So this system will carry the lymph. Lymphatic system means what? Lymphatic. See, so forget about lymph. Concentrate on phatic. So as the term phatic means fat. Okay, so lymphatic system will carry fats. Okay, whatever you are ingesting, whatever you are eating, that is carbohydrate, protein, lipids. So carbohydrate and proteins will be absorbed from stomach by separate pathway. Okay, but lipid soluble vitamins, then triglycerides, fats, glycerols, those kind of stuff will be absorbed from the lymphatic system, in the lymphatic system, and ultimately that will be carried by lymphatic system, and that later on that will be distributed in the blood according to the. Again, lymphatic system has another role, which is a defensive role for body. So lymphatic system is also defensive system of your body, or you can call it as an immune system, because lymphatic system, in the lymphatic system you are having two major macrophages is there, and lymphocytes are there. Okay, so two major cells, two major phagocytic cells. Okay, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So those are present in the lymphatic system along with macrophages. So this lymphatic system will drain your fats, will absorb your fats, fat soluble vitamins and all that, along with other interstitial fluid. So there are two types of fluid in your body. Okay, so first is a vascular fluid, and second one is a interstitial fluid. So what do you mean by vascular fluid? So whatever fluid is there in the blood vessels, so that is called as a vascular fluid. And what is interstitial fluid? So apart from vascular fluid, there is another fluid known as the interstitial fluid, which is present between your cells. Okay, जो आपके बॉडी के सेल्स होते हैं, डिफरेंट ऑर्गन के जो सेल्स होते हैं. So in the very first line of anatomy physiology, you might have read that line. So cell is bathed in the fluid. Okay, so that fluid is nothing but the interstitial fluid. So जो fluid होता है दो सेल के बीच में, ऑर्गन और जो सेल्स होते हैं, सेल के बीच में जो fluid होता है उसको बोलते हैं interstitial fluid. So now there is difference between blood capillary and lymphatic capillary. Okay, so blood capillary and lymphatic capillary. Forget about capillary. Just say lymphatic vessel and blood vessel. So there is a little bit difference in lymphatic vessel and blood vessel. Okay, so blood vessel is a selectively permeable. Okay, but its permeability is limited. As far as blood vessel is concerned, its permeability is limited. Okay, the lymphatic vessel is more permeable. Lymphatic vessel is more permeable. कौन था? Lymphatic vessel is more permeable than blood vessel. Okay, so आपने देखा होगा कि आपने पढ़ा होगा, अभी अपने कार्डियक सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम लिया नहीं है, इसलिए आपको तो मालूम ही होगा, आपका B.Pharm में हो चुका होगा. ठीक है, सो सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम में जो ब्लड वेसल्स होते हैं वो ब्लड वेसल के जैसे ही अपने लिम्फ वेसल्स होते हैं. सो एज लाइक अ ब्लड वेसल्स देयर आर लिम्फ वेसल, एज लाइक अ ब्लड कैपिलरीज देयर आर लिम्फ कैपिलरीज. So I will explain you how lymphatic system is there, how there is organization of lymphatic system as like cardiac system. But there is a major difference that blood vessels are selectively permeable. Okay, and they are not permeable to the high molecular weight proteins and all that. Okay, but in case of lymphatic blood vessels, they are permeable to high molecular weight proteins. Okay, so suppose that your interstitial fluid means आपका जो सेल्स होता है, सेल्स के सेल जिसमें बात करता है, सेल जिसमें नहाता है, ये फ्लूइड जो है उसको बोलते हैं इंटरस्टिशियल फ्लूइड. सो इंटरस्टिशियल फ्लूइड हैज लिम्फेटिक कैपिलरीज लाइक ब्लड कैपिलरीज. लाइक ब्लड कैपिलरीज होता है ना, आपके हर एक सेल को सप्लाई होता है ब्लड. सो जैसे होता है कि मेजर आर्टरी होता है आवर्टा. ओके, आवर्टा के बाद क्या होता है, आर्टरीज होता है, स्मॉल स्मॉल ब्लड वेसल. ठीक है, उसके बाद में क्या होता है, माइन्यूट कैपिलरीज होता है. वो माइन्यूट कैपिलरीज सप्लाई कर देते हैं हर एक बॉडी के पार्ट को. ठीक है, सो हर एक कैपिलरीज, कैपिलरीज मतलब एकदम थिन स्ट्रक्चर रहता है, बहुत ही छोटे रहते हैं कैपिलरी. सो इन द सिमिलर वे योर लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम आल्सो हैज lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessel, lymphatic duct and lymphatic organs. But the difference, basic difference in the lymphatic system and cardiovascular system is that, so your cardiac system consists of a pump which is pumping the blood. Okay, but in case of lymphatic system you don't have such kind of pumps. So here pump is not there. Okay, so there are lymphatic organs, lymphatic blood vessels, lymphatic capillaries, but there is no such kind of pumps as compared to your cardiac system. So that's why that is the basic difference. And lymphatic system is mostly concentrated in the truncal area. आपका जो thoracic cage होता है उसी के आजू बाजू में उसका lymphatic glands वगैरह जो होता है neck के पार्ट में या thoracic cage के पार्ट में. तो बाकी यहाँ पे lymphatic glands होते नहीं है, वहाँ पे सिर्फ lymphatic capillaries होती है to drain the lymph. Now what is lymph? Lymph is like a blood, like a जैसे blood होता है, blood is a fluid tissue. So lymph is also fluid, but it has a different constitution. So just take a overview of lymphatic system. So you will have, first of all you will have lymphatic capillary all over your body. So which will drain, which will collect. What they will collect? They will collect interstitial fluid. Okay, so they will collect interstitial fluid, proteins present in the interstitial fluid. Okay, so that will be collected and lymphatic capillaries will join together to form a lymphatic vessel, and lymphatic vessel will drain a lymph towards the lymphatic organ. Okay, so now lymphatic blood vessel has a different kind of specialized cells known as lymphatic cells, and collection of such cells are there statistically placed in all our body. So such nodes are there. So that nodes are known as the lymphatic nodes. Okay, so the whatever lymph is carried by lymphatic capillaries and lymphatic vessels, it will be filtered in the lymphatic nodes. Okay, and such nodes and such blood vessels, capillaries, such lymphatic vessels and capillary will drain all the lymph in the two main lymphatic duct, thoracic lymphatic duct and left ventricular left cardiac duct. Okay, so these two will drain the blood, the lymph into that clavicle vein, that is known as clavicle vein. जैसे कैपिलरीज होता है, कैपिलरी क्या करेंगे कि लिम्फ कैरी करेंगे कहाँ से, इंटरस्टिशियल फ्लूइड जो होता है आपका, जो दो सेल के बीच में जो फ्लूइड होता है उसको बोलते हैं इंटरस्टिशियल फ्लूइड. ठीक है, उसमें सब कुछ होता है, प्रोटीन, कार्बोहाइड्रेट वगैरह, ये सब एनर्जी के लिए सब लगता है सेल के लिए. तो वो गेन करता है, कौन करता है, ड्रेन करता है, दैट इज द लिम्फेटिक कैपिलरीज. दैट कैपिलरीज विल ड्रेन दैट, एंड that drain will be given to lymphatic vessels. Okay, now lymphatic vessels also has valves. जैसे आपने देख, you might have seen in there are certain kinds of blood vessel which has a valves like veins. Veins has a valve, semilunar valve, to prevent the backflow of blood, right? So in a lymphatic blood vessel also there is a valves. There are valves because in lymphatic system there is no pump. There is no such kind of pump to force the lymph and to collect the lymph, right? So that's why lymphatic system or lymphatic blood vessel has a semilunar valves that will prevent the backflow of lymph, whatever is collected. Now that lymph will be carried to a major lymphatic blood vessel, lymphatic vessels, and then now the lymph will be filtered by lymph nodes, and then the lymph will be drained into splenic that clavicle vein. जो वेन होता है ब्लड वेसल, उसमें फिर लिम्फ जाएगा, है ना. तो लिम्फेटिक लिम्फ कलेक्ट करने के लिए अलग सिस्टम है, उसको बोलते हैं लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. जो आपका कार्डियोवास्कुलर सिस्टम है वो अलग है. सो लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम विल कलेक्ट द लिम्फ. तो इनिशियली क्या होता है, लिम्फेटिक कैपिलरीज होते हैं वो कलेक्ट करते हैं लिम्फ, और वो यूनाइट होके लिम्फेटिक वेसल बनाते हैं. और लिम्फेटिक वेसल में क्या है, जगह जगह पे जो लिम्फेटिक वेसल है वो पर्टिकुलर इसके बाद वो पर्टिकुलर एरिया के बाद उनके पास वो लिम्फेटिक वेसल में एक लिम्फ नोड होता है. वो लिम्फ नोड क्या करता है, वो लिम्फ कलेक्ट किया है वो फिल्टर करता है. ठीक है, उसमें फिर सेल डेब्रीज वगैरह जो भी कुछ होता है वो वहां से फिल्टर हो जाता है. बाद में क्लीन लिम्फ जो होता है वो क्लीन लिम्फ मेजरली कलेक्ट होता है दो इसमें, उसको बोलते हैं लिम्फ डक्ट. थोरेसिक डक्ट होता है एक, और एक दूसरा मेजर डक्ट होता है. ठीक है, मैं बोलता हूँ आपको. और वो होता है, और उसमें लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम में क्या होता है, फिर कितने पार्ट्स होते हैं आपके लिम्फेटिक. सो देयर आर certain parts of lymphatic system, that is nothing but the lymphatic capillaries, then lymphatic vessels, then lymphatic nodes, lymph nodes, okay, then lymphatic organs. So what are the organs associated with lymphatic system? That is thymus, then spleen, okay, then tonsils and all that. Tonsils and Peyer's patches are there. Okay. So uh, this will come, this all together will be a lymphatic system. ठीक है, लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम में ये सब होता है. ठीक है, नाउ इट इज जस्ट ओवरव्यू ऑफ लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. सो जो टॉन्सिल्स होते हैं, सो व्हाट एवर टॉन्सिल्स आर प्रेजेंट इन योर नेक, सो दैट इज अ लिम्फ ग्लैंड. ओके, सो दैट इज अ लिम्फेटिक ग्लैंड. दैट टॉन्सिल इज लिम्फ. देन lymph nodes are numerous lymph nodes are there which is distributed in a upper trunk of your body. जो आपको नेक से लेके कमर तक का जो एरिया होता है वहां पे numerous lymph glands रहती है. So now lymphatic system has a 2-3 function. Okay, so it will collect the interstitial waste fluid, then it also increase the absorption of fat soluble vitamins in the intestine, and then again this lymphatic system has a protective function in the body. It is a immune function, so it has a B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes and macrophages. So whatever invention, whatever infection, whatever microbial infection is there, so that will be destroyed by these lymphocytes. Okay, so antibodies वगैरह इसमें होते हैं जो B lymphocytes की lymphocytes होते हैं. Again इसमें enzyme होते हैं lysozyme that will also digest the foreign material. Okay, so it is an overview of lymphatic system. So tonsils are there, then thoracic duct is there. Thymus gland is a organ of lymphatic system. Tonsil is organ of lymphatic system. Then your spleen is organ of lymphatic system. Then lymphatic blood vessels. Then lymphatic capillaries. Lymphatic capillary will carry lymph to the lymphatic blood vessel. Lymphatic vessel. Sorry. Lymphatic vessel will carry blood to the lymphatic duct. Okay, and that duct will drain into a vein known as a clavicle vein. जहाँ पे clavicle vein रहता है वो वेन में लिम्फ वहां पे डालेगा. वो लिम्फ बाकी जगह पे भी सप्लाई होता है, जैसे आपका लीवर हो गया. सो इट इज ओवरव्यू ऑफ लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. नाउ वी विल सी व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट ऑर्गन एसोसिएटेड विद लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. ओके, सो ऑर्गन्स ऑफ लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. सो लिम्फ इज अ फ्लूइड. ओके, लिम्फ इज देयर, देन लिम्फेटिक वेसल्स आर देयर, लिम्फ नोड्स आर देयर, देन लिम्फेटिक ऑर्गन्स लाइक स्प्लीन, thymus and diffuse lymphoidal tissue. Okay, diffuse lymphoidal tissue like tonsils is there, then bone marrow also consists of lymphoidal tissue, and then there are certain patches in the intestine known as a Peyer's patches. We will see it again. Okay, so what is the function of your lymphatic system? So tissue drainage. Tissue drainage means what? So whatever fluid are present in the tissue that should be replaced, so that tissue fluid is collected. Okay, so about 3 to 4 liters of lymph is collected per day. Okay, so 3 to 4 liters lymph is collected by lymph capillaries every day from the tissue. Okay, now what is lymph? Lymph is nothing but it is a clear watery fluid like a plasma, except this lymph does not have red blood cells. Okay, so it will not have RBC, it will not have plasma proteins. So लिम्फ में प्लाज्मा प्रोटीन और आरबीसी नहीं रहता, बाकी सब रहता है. ठीक है, तो लेकिन कम क्वांटिटी में रहता है. अभी इसमें प्लाज्मा प्रोटीन नहीं रहती है लेकिन बाकी ये प्रोटीन होते हैं. सो लिम्फ इज अ क्लियर वाटरी फ्लूइड like plasma, except it does not have any plasma proteins, but it has a proteins, different proteins, and particularly high molecular weight protein. Okay, so those high molecular weight protein which is not permeable to your blood vessels. So that protein is carried by lymphatic system. Okay, and then it has a lipid soluble vitamins, then lipids. Okay, whatever you are eating fats, so that is carried by lymphatic system. Okay, then again vitamins, lipid soluble vitamins, bacterial and cell debris. Okay, so for example, you had an infection, so that infection is counteracted by our B cells and T cells and macrophages. So whatever debris are remaining, आपके अंदर बैक्टीरिया का इन्फेक्शन हो गया, वो बैक्टीरिया मर गया, लेकिन वो बैक्टीरिया का जो डेड बॉडी है वो तो आपके बॉडी में ही रहेगा ना. सो बॉडी एंड बॉडी, डेड बॉडी इनसाइड द बॉडी, सो उसको क्या करना है, उसको निकालना पड़ेगा. सो सो देयर इज अ सिस्टम नोन एज लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. सो इट हैज अ बैक्टीरियल एज वेल एज डैमेज सेल डेब्रिस. अब डैमेज सेल का होता है, फॉर एग्जांपल यू गॉट अ कैंसर. ओके, सो यू गॉट अ कैंसर और यू गॉट अ सेल इंजुरी. सो इन केस और प्रॉब्लम सेल डेथ जो होता है ना, नॉर्मल सेल डेथ होता है, एक के बाद एक सेल बनता है डेथ. So now what about that debris? What about the dead cells? So bacterial dead body debris that will be carried by lymph, that is present in the lymph. Okay, and that lymph is filtered by lymph nodes. Okay, so lymph consists of lymphocytes which are defense cells. Okay, which are antibodies, which act as like antibodies. So T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes are there. Then macrophages are there. It is a function, tissue drainage, and its productive function. Along with that, absorption of fats, absorption of lipids in the small intestine. So again, this lymphatic system is involved in the absorption of fats along with fat soluble material like vitamins and other fat soluble material that will be absorbed directly from the intestine in the lymph. Okay, so absorption of fat and other fat soluble material, vitamins from the villi and microvilli part of intestine into the lymphatic vessel. So lymphatic vessels, lymphatic capillaries, they are supplied to a intestine, small intestine, where there is a folding and refolding known as a microvilli and villi. So from there, so fats are absorbed. So fats are not going directly into the circulation. Okay, so fats, देखो बाद में आपने कार्बोहाइड्रेट खाया, प्रोटीन खाया, विटामिन खाया, ठीक है, जो वो कार्बोहाइड्रेट प्रोटीन विटामिन है वो डाइजेशन होने के बाद डायरेक्टली ब्लड में एब्सॉर्ब होता है, ठीक है, और वो ब्लड लिवर को कैरी किया जाता है, ठीक है. लेकिन जो आपने फैट खाया है, जो लिपिड्स खाया है, वो लिपिड डायरेक्टली ब्लड में एब्सॉर्ब नहीं होता. वो क्या होता है, वो आपके जो ब्लड कैपिलरीज है वहां पे नहीं जाता, वो एब्सॉर्प्शन होने के लिए अलग से सिस्टम होता है, उसको बोलते हैं लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम. ओके, सो दैट माइक्रोविलाई एंड विलाई आर सप्लाइड इन विद लिम्फ वेसल, so which can drain or which can absorb the lipids. Okay, now lymphatic capillaries, what are the lymphatic capillaries? So lymph capillaries, they are like a blood capillaries similarly, but these lymphatic capillaries will have a higher permeation, means higher, they are permeable to higher molecular weight substances. Okay, so they are more permeable to interstitial fluid. Interstitial fluid means fluid between two cells, right? So including protein and cell debris. The capillaries, they join together to form a lymph vessel, and lymph vessel consists of a semilunar wall, I have told you, okay, to prevent the backflow of lymph, right? The structure is similar to vein, जैसे veins में होता है, जो valves are present in the vein but not in artery in this case of circulatory system, and these valves are also present in the lymphatic blood vessels to prevent the backflow of lymph in the lymphatic vessel, and they are present in the veins to prevent the backflow of blood, right? Now you might have one doubt in your mind. So if there is no any pump involved in the lymphatic system, then how lymph is collected? Okay, so how is lymph is collected? So this lymphatic blood vessels has a smooth muscle layer. Okay, inside the vessel there will be a smooth muscle layer which is having intrinsic ability to contract rhythmically. So it will contract and relax rhythmically, and it will collect the lymph. Okay, so that's how lymph is collected. Now lymph nodes. So first part of lymphatic system is lymph capillary, then lymph nodes. Lymph capillary will join together to form a lymph vessels. Okay, and now lymph nodes. So it is a oval shaped organ that lies in a group of along the length of lymph vessel. जो lymph vessels होते हैं, जैसे lymph vessel जहाँ जहाँ भी होंगे वहाँ पे एक ग्रुप में ये lymph nodes रहते हैं पर्टिकुलर डिस्टेंस में. ओके, so bean or oval shaped organ that lies in the group along with the length of lymph vessel, they are first line defense of the body. Okay, so whatever infection you are getting, So first line dependency is nothing but the lymphatic system. Okay, so lymph gland will come into the picture. They will release macrophages, they will release your T lymphocytes and B lymphocyte, and they will counteract the invading organism. So they are first line of defense. Okay, so lymph they are first line defense of the body, patrolling in all over the body through lymph vessels. Okay, so wherever lymph vessels are present in the body, so there you will have a lymph nodes, and they are the first line defense of the body. So lymph node consists of lymphocytes and macrophages, T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, and macrophages. So they are nothing but the defense cells. Okay, now what is the function of lymph nodes? So including filtering means whatever lymph is collected by lymph capillaries and vessel, so it will be filtered in the lymph node first. Then phagocytosis. So if there is any cell, any foreign cell or any bacteria, so that will be phagocytosized in the lymph nodes, because lymph node has a lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Okay, and macrophages. Okay, including bacteria, dead cells, live parasites, ingested microbes. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने खाना खाया लेकिन हाइजेनिक खाना नहीं खाया, तो उसमें बहुत सारा माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ है, आपने खाया और वहाँ पे आपका इम्यूनिटी, आपका जीआईटी इम्यूनिटी अच्छा है, आपने वही तो वहाँ पे तो कोई सिम्टम्स नहीं खाया, लेकिन वो लिम्फ में चला गया वो बैक्टीरिया. ठीक है, तो जब लिम्फ नोड तक आएगा, लिम्फ नोड क्या करेगा, उसको डाइजेस्ट कर देगा, उसको डिस्ट्रक्ट कर देगा. ठीक है, अगेन वट एवर मैलिग्नेंट ट्यूमर, सपोज दैट यू गॉट ट्यूमर, मैलिग्नेंट ट्यूमर है, और वो मैलिग्नेंट मतलब क्या होता है, दो टाइप का ट्यूमर होता है, मैलिग्नेंट एंड बिनाइन ट्यूमर. सो बिनाइन ट्यूमर जो होता है वो वहीं पे रहता है, एक जगह पे वहीं पे बढ़ता है, और उसको काट कर फेंक दिया आपने सर्जरी करके, तो वो ज़्यादा फैलेगा नहीं बॉडी में, वहीं पे ग्रो होगा फिर से. ठीक है, लेकिन जो मैलिग्नेंट ट्यूमर होता है वो क्या होता है, वो बॉडी के हर पार्ट में जा सकता है. सो द मैलिग्नेंट ट्यूमर सेल हैज कैपेसिटी टू इन्वेड अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ बॉडी आल्सो. सो that malignant cell also will be destroyed by lymph nodes. So sometimes what happens, because of infection of lymph nodes, so lymph nodes get swell, they get swell due to inflammation and phagocytosis. So that condition is known as Lymphoid Adenopathy. Okay, again there will be more proliferation of lymphocytes like T and B lymphocytes to counteract that. Okay, now next organ of lymphatic system is a spleen. So spleen is the largest organ of lymphatic system. Remember, spleen is the largest organ of lymphatic system. Very important. Okay, it will weigh about 200 gram and its dimensions are 12 into 7 centimeter. Okay. So now which consists of a large number of lymphocytes and macrophages. Spleen जो होता है आपका, spleen is the largest organ of lymphatic system. Remember. और ये spleen का functions क्या होता है? So first function, it will phagocytosis. So it will carry out the phagocytosis of your infection or foreign body or foreign blood cell, foreign cell or foreign organism. Phagocytosis of leukocytes, platelets and bacteria. Again, this spleen is a storage of blood. It is a storage of blood. Okay, so around 350 ml of blood is stored in the spleen. So it will act as a reserve. It will act as a reservoir for blood in case of emergency. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन केस ऑफ हीमोरेज, अगर आपको कोई ब्लड वेसल कट गया, तो बहुत सारा ब्लड लॉस हो गया, तो उस टाइम पे स्प्लीन में जो ब्लड है बचा 350 में, दैट विल बी सप्लाइड टू आवर बॉडी, दैट विल एक्ट एज अ ब्लड रिजर्वायर. ओके, सो इट विल हैव अ phagocytosis action, then blood storage, then again spleen will serve immune response. It will supply B and T lymphocytes proliferation during infection. Okay, now spleen will supply these T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes during infection. Okay, so sometimes what happens, infection of spleen occurs. Infection of spleen occurs and there is enlargement of spleen. Spleen का जो size है वो बढ़ जाता है कभी-कभी infection में. That is known as a splenomegaly. Okay, again this spleen along with the liver, they are involved in the erythropoiesis. What is erythropoiesis? We have seen in the very first lecture when we were discussing about the blood. Okay, erythropoiesis means generation of red blood cells or synthesis of red blood cells. Okay, so this spleen is a reservoir. Then it is involved in the defense mechanism, phagocytosis, and all that, immune response. Okay, so remember, spleen is the largest organ of the lymphatic system. It is very important. The next organ is the thymus gland. So it is around 10 to 40 gram organ gland present in the just behind your sternum. जो छाती का जो हड्डी है आपका उसके पीछे ये thymus gland रहता है, and in puberty it might be little bit it will increase the size in puberty. So 10 to 40 or 30 to 40 gram in puberty, gland is present in the upper mediastinum behind the sternum. Okay, so what is the function of this thymus gland? So lymphocytes, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. Okay, so T lymphocytes means what? Thymus derived lymphocytes. Actually these lymphocytic cells are they are made in the bone marrow. Okay, they are made in the bone marrow from stem cells. Okay, and from bone marrow they will be carried to thymus gland. Here they matures. Here they mature, they will be activated. Okay, so lymphocytes are made from stem cells in the bone marrow, and they are carried to a thymus gland, and they becomes activated T lymphocytes. Activation of lymphocytes occurs, and that's why you will get T lymphocytes. Now T lymphocytes are very antigen specific. Means अगर कोरोना वायरस का एंटीजन के अगेंस्ट में टी लिम्फोसाइट बन गया तो जब भी कोरोना वायरस का इन्फेक्शन होगा तो उसको वो काउंटर एक्ट करेगा, लेकिन अगर दूसरा एडेनो वायरस का इन्फेक्शन होगा तो उसको नहीं करेगा. सो दे आर वेरी एंटीजन स्पेसिफिक टी लिम्फोसाइट्स. दे कैन डिफरेंशिएट इनटू सेल्फ सेल एंड फॉरेन सेल. ठीक है, मतलब आपकी बॉडी के सेल कौन सा है और फॉरेन सेल कौन सा है, दे कैन डिफरेंशिएट. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इन द कैंसर. कैंसर में क्या होता है कि आपके बॉडी का सेल ही ग्रो हो रहा है ना. कैंसर मतलब क्या दूसरा सेल कोई आपकी बॉडी के अंदर डाल रहा है क्या? नहीं. कैंसर मतलब आपकी बॉडी का ही सेल के ग्रोथ अनकंट्रोल ग्रोथ हो रहा है, मतलब बहुत ही ज्यादा प्रोलिफरेशन हो रहा है उसका और बहुत ही अनकंट्रोल ग्रोथ हो रहा है, लेकिन वो आप ही के बॉडी का सेल है ना. सो दैट्स व्हाई lymphocyte will not able to distinguish between normal cell and cancerous cell, because cancerous cells is nothing but the cancerous cells are nothing but the your own cells, right? So in that case T lymphocyte will not act, and that is the reason most of the anti-cancer drug they are having very serious side effects. कि आप, as I have many times told you, you cannot kill the cancer cell without affecting the normal cells. Then okay, so there is one hormone known as a thymosin. There is one hormone known as thymosin which is released by this thymus gland. Remember, this is thymosin is a hormone of thymus gland, and it is responsible for the maturation of thymus and other lymphoid tissue. So thymosin is responsible for the maturation of thymus and other lymphoid tissue. Okay, then there is another one lymphoid tissue known as a mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, or MALT, MEALT, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, MALT. Now the spleen and thymus, they are the lymphatic tissue encapsulated. Okay, यहाँ पे ग्लैंड जैसा उनको मिलेगा, आपको encapsulation मिलेगा, उसके अंदर lymphoid tissue होगा, spleen और thymus gland. But what happens in mucosa associated lymphoid tissue? So there will be not a capsule over there, or there will not be a layer over here. Okay, so so unlike the spleen and thymus और spleen का क्या होता है, body consists of a tissue strategically placed at a location known as this organ. But in case of mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, they are not having layer, they are not having any capsule. So they are strategically placed at a different location known as a mucosa. They are, for example, lymphoid cell जो होता है, मान लीजिए कि group of lymphoid cells are placed in a different organs for a specific work strategy, for a specific strategy. For example, they are placed in your tonsils. Okay, the tonsils होता है आपका वहाँ पे. Okay, then again, so they are also placed at a specific interval in your intestine. So okay, so they are known as a Peyer's patches. So this is known as a mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. मतलब जो mucosal lining होता है GIT का, that is associated with lymphoid tissue. That's why. Okay, they are migrated from bone marrow. They are like, for example, tonsils and aggregated lymphoidal tissue, lymphoidal follicles present in the intestine. They are known as a Peyer's patches. इसके ऊपर भी एक बार क्वेश्चन आया था, so you have to be clear about it. Okay, The tonsils are located in the mouth, throat, and okay. So whatever you are ingesting, if it has some microorganism, that will be destroyed by tonsils. Okay. So tonsils are located in the mouth and throat. So if you are taking food which is contaminated with bacteria, so that bacteria will be destroyed by tonsils. और कभी कभी हो जाता है ना बच्चों को कि टॉन्सिलाइटिस होता है, मतलब टॉन्सिल उसका सूज जाता है. क्यों? बिकॉज वो बच्चों को क्या समझता है क्या क्लीन है क्या खराब है. ठीक है, बच्चे किधर भी हाथ लगाते हैं, किधर भी कुछ भी खाते हैं, तो उनकी वजह से उनका क्या होता है, इन्फेक्शन होते रहता है. और कंटिन्यूस जो आपका टॉन्सिल है वो वर्किंग करने की वजह से कभी कभी टॉन्सिल का भी इन्फेक्शन होता है. दैट इज नोन एज टॉन्सिलाइटिस. टॉन्सिल सूज जाता है, टॉन्सिल उसका साइज बढ़ जाता है. ठीक है, उसके बाद में वैसे ही म्यूकोसा एसोसिएटेड लिम्फोइडल टिश्यू होता है. दूसरा पेयर्स पैचेस और एग्रीगेटेड लिम्फोइडल फॉलिकल्स मीन्स एग्रीगेशन और ग्रुप ऑफ लिम्फोइड सेल्स, ग्रुप ऑफ लिम्फेटिक सेल्स, दे आर प्रेजेंट इन द इंटेस्टाइन एट ए इंटरवल. ओके, इंटेस्टाइन में होते हैं वो, उसको बोलते हैं पेयर्स पैचेस. वहां पे क्या क्यों होता है? बिकॉज दे आर प्रेजेंट इन द इंटेस्टाइन. You are eating a food, and if that food is contaminated, so the Peyer's patches will remove the bacteria over there. So inhaled antigen that can be, so aggregated lymphoid follicle Peyer's patches are located in the small intestine and they will intercept the swallowed antigen. आपने अगर कुछ खाया है उसमें एंटीजन है तो वो इंटरसेप्ट करेगा उसको. Now next one is what is the composition of lymph? So we are talking about the lymph, but what is the composition of lymph? That is important. Okay, so lymph is mostly made up of 96% water and only 4% solids are there in the lymph. So water is not important. So whatever solids are present, what type of solids are present in the lymph? So you will have organic substances, inorganic substances, and cellular component. So in case of organic substances, you have different proteins in the lymph like albumin, globin, clotting factors, then antibodies and enzymes. Albumin, globulin, clotting factors, then antibodies and enzymes. So these kind of proteins will be there. Then lipids. Okay, so chylomicrons and lipoproteins, because lymph is mostly a lipid in nature. So you will have lipids in 5 to 15 concentration, like chylomicrons and lipoproteins. Then also lymph will have glucose, like carbohydrate like glucose. Then amino acids will be there. Then non-protein nitrogenous substances like urea and creatinine will be there. These are the organic component of your lymph. Now inorganic component, sodium, calcium, phosphate, sodium, calcium, potassium, they will be present in the low concentration, and chlorides and bicarbonate will be present in the high concentration in the lymph. Okay. Then cellular component means what type of cells are present in the lymph. So you might have seen, got idea. So spleen will have lymphocytes. It will be around 1000 to 2000 per cubic millimeter. Okay. Then other cells like monocytes, macrophages, and plasma cells also present in the lymph. So it is a composition of lymph. Just a word. There are some pathological terms related with lymphatic system. Okay. So lymphangitis. So lymphangitis means what? Inflammation of lymph vessels. That is known as lymphangitis. Then lymphangitis means what? Infection of lymph nodes. That is a lymphangitis. Then lymphoid adenopathy means enlargement of lymph nodes. Then splenomegaly means enlargement of spleen. Lymphoedema means what? So if swelling of lymph tissue or lymph node, okay, swelling of lymph tissue, okay, because of blockage of lymphatic vessel, okay, so swelling in the tissue whose lymphatic drainage has been blocked or obstructed due to some way, so that will leads to lymphoedema. That will increase the size of lymph vessel or lymph gland, and that will give you lymphoedema. This is related with the lymphatic system. So lymphadentis. So acute infection of lymph nodes usually caused by microbes transported into lymph. तो lymph में जो microbial transport होता है कभी कभी उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, lymphadentis होता है. So it is actually a secondary condition. Primary condition might be a different infection and all that. Okay. Then again is glandular pure or infectious mononucleosis. Glandular pure or infectious mononucleosis. So it is a highly contagious viral infection spread by Direct contact of virus multiplies in epithelial cells of pharynx, subsequently spread to cervical lymph nodes. Okay, so lymph nodes जो होते हैं मैक्सिमम आपके thoracic and cervical region पे होते हैं, आपका ब्रेन का जो एरिया है उसमें भी होते हैं. So it is a glandular fever is nothing but the viral infection that spread by uh, spread by contact of virus and multiplies in the epithelial cell of pharynx. ठीक है, upper throat infection, cervical lymph nodes and carry to a spread of cervical lymph nodes. Now, what is the features of this glandular fever? So tonsillitis, lymphoid adenopathy, splenomegaly. These will be the clinical features of this glandular fever. Then common complication is myalgic encephalitis. This is viral infection of brain is known as a encephalitis. Myalgic means muscle जो होता है muscle का infection. Myalgic encephalitis. It is also known as chronic fatigue. So it is not much important for GPAT, but still आपको एक just मालूम होना चाहिए इसलिए. Now next one is lymphoma. Lymphoma means it is a cancer of lymphatic. Lymphoma means cancer of lymphatic system. So in that you have two types. Hodgkin's disease, which is a progressive painless enlargement of lymph nodes. कि lymph जो node है आपका वो बड़ा हो जाएगा size में throughout the body. As the lymphoid tissue within them proliferates, the disease leads to decreased immunity because decreased lymphocyte function. So lymph node जो है उसका enlargement होगा यहाँ पे, और enlargement होने की वजह से वो जो supply है lymphatic cells का, lymphocytes का, B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, that will be decreased, and that's why immunity will be decreased. But due to unknown cause, that is known as Hodgkin's disease. So enlargement of lymph nodes is there. Then non-Hodgkin's lymphoma associated with immunodeficiency state and certain viral infection like HIV, including HIV. It includes multiple myeloma, then Burkitt lymphoma. It results in anemia, leukopenia, and varying degree. So just remember Hodgkin's disease and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. They are the lymphoma type of lymphomas of lymphatic system. Then splenomegaly means what? So enlargement of spleen is nothing but the splenomegaly. Okay, enlargement of spleen is nothing but the splenomegaly due to secondary infection. Secondary infection में दूसरा कुछ infection हो गया आपको, उसकी वजह से अगर spleen का size बढ़ गया तो उसको बोलते हैं splenomegaly. It may be due to because of different infection like tuberculosis, typhoid, malaria. अगर किसी को TB हो गया, टाइफाइड हो गया, फिर मलेरिया हो गया, तो उसका स्प्लीन एनलार्ज होगा, तो डॉक्टर चेक करता है कभी पेट में हाथ लगा के. That is a splenomegaly. So it was about the lymphatic system. So what is important from lymphatic system? So you just have to know, remember what are the lymphatic organs, what is lymph node, and what is composition of lymph. Then what are the organs associated with lymph? Spleen is the largest organ of lymph. Then thymus is also there. Okay. So these lymphatic vessels are supplied all over the body, but lymph nodes are only present in this area, truncal area. So lymph capillary will carry lymph from all the body parts. They will carry lymph into blood lymph vessel, and the lymph vessel will drain the lymph into lymphatic duct. There are two lymphatic ducts. I have already told you in the beginning. Thoracic duct is there, and then left cardiac duct is there. Okay? And these ducts finally drain their lymph into a clavicle vein. Okay? And then there are certain organs associated with the lymphatic system, the tonsil, then Peyer's patches. We'll see the digestive system. Now, what is digestive system? Just a minute, I will save. I think एक बार recording save कर लेता हूँ उसका, फिर continue